Welcome to another meal prep video, guys. I've just got some water boiling to cook my gnocchi, and then once that's done, I strain it. I'm starting to cook my chicken now. No oil, just lightly salted because a lot of the fat will come out of the chicken thigh. That's why I don't use oil, but you can use oil if you like. So there's my gnocchi. I'm just going to leave on the side to sit. I'm cooking my frozen onions with the chicken fat that's kind of rendered off when I've cooked the chicken. I've got a whole bag of baby spinach, which I'm going to use up. As you guys can see, I've cut the chicken into little chunks and tossed it back in with the onion. I lightly seasoned it with salt. I'm adding in some Italian herbs and some thickened cream, tossing it all together, letting it simmer. I should have put in garlic, but I was a little bit too lazy to chop it up. On this particular day, I kind of just used things that were nice and easy. So I've tossed in the whole bag of spinach. I know it looks like a lot, but it's going to wilt down. I'm also going to add in some Parmigiano cheese, and I think I added in a little bit more salt at this stage as well. As you guys can see, once it wilts down, there's barely any there. So yeah, that's the sauce cooking down. I'm going to add in the gnocchi as well. Later on, I did taste the sauce and I wanted to add a little bit more of the Italian seasoning in, which I did there. Mix the gnocchi in, and I like to add some cheese in a little bit towards the end just to mix it through to add more flavor to the sauce. And then when I do serve it, I do add another little sprinkle of Parmigiano cheese on top. One for presentation, and I always love a little extra cheese. So that's the finished product. So the next meal I actually made on a really hot day, one of the days on the weekend. I've got some rocket, some sliced tomatoes, some Turkish bread, and some of that chicken souvlaki, which I really enjoyed. I also toasted the Turkish bread as well, lightly buttered it, added the tomato, the rocket, the chicken, and some garlic aioli on top. In this next meal, you guys can see I've got some ramen, some beef strips, some baby spinach. I essentially just throw everything together. Got a huge bunch of spinach here, as you guys can see. I've added all of the ramen seasoning into the pot, and then I also add in the ramen, let that cook, and then I strain it and put it into the bowls, and then I cook the spinach, strain that and put it into the bowls, cook the meat, strain that and put it into the bowls. Really, you could just toss it all together, but I kind of just did that for presentation purposes whilst I'm filming this for you guys. So nice, quick, easy, and a yummy meal. So here, guys, I've just got some beef strips marinating in some soya sauce, Chinese cooking wine, cornstarch, garlic, soy sauce, and onions. And I think I also added in a bit of sugar and salt. And then I've also made a separate sauce, which has oyster sauce, loads of pepper, a little bit of fish sauce, and salt. And then I've just sauteed some spinach, pulled it out to leave it on the side, and I'm just cooking off the beef strips and the onion in a little bit of olive oil and sesame oil. So I'm just mixing in the sauce. As you guys can see, I've added a little bit of sugar. Once the meat is predominantly cooked, I add in the pepper sauce and mix it through, only because it has a bit of sugar, so I don't want it to burn. Once it's pretty much cooked, so 98% cooked, I add in my sauteed spinach, and that's what the finished product looks like. I have this on a serve of white rice. It was so good. And in this next clip, I actually did a mini grocery shop, well, more so a top-up shop, and I did go on a Monday evening, which was a public holiday as well. I actually expected the shops to be really busy, but it was actually really quiet, which was good. So I picked up some Turkish bread for $2.80. The cauliflower was $2.90, and it weighed about 1.4 kilos, I believe, which is pretty good value. I also picked up some chili tuna that you guys can see in the back. The cauliflower, I'm probably going to experiment with some meals. I'm not too sure yet. The tuna, I like just to have in the pantry as a snack. Also grabbed some soft white wraps, which were $2.50. I think they used to be $2, so inflation, I guess. The chili tuna was $1.10 per can. They used to be 90 cents as well, and that is the Coles brand. I also picked up some tomatoes, which I'm going to show you guys shortly. With the wraps, I just want to quickly mention, I'm going to do like a refried beans, carrots, onions, quesadilla kind of thing, and dip that in cheese sauce, but I'll show you guys once I do it. I also grabbed some tomatoes for $3.90 a kilo. This was like 800 grams. Carrots were only $1 a kilo this week at Coles. I did have a few left at home, but seeing as they were $1 a kilo, I figured I should pick some up since it's at that price mark range. I also managed to get some lamb strips marked down from $14 sale to $11.20, which I think is a pretty good deal because I love those souvlaki lamb strips. And I also got some mushrooms. I'll just show you guys. They're quite big mushrooms, which I really like. So those will be added to like a vegan udon dish, which I'll show you guys in another clip as well. It will be in my cooking clip for those who are interested. And then I've just got some garlic aioli, as you guys can see there. So here I've got some Turkish bread toasted and lightly buttered. I've also added in some fresh tomatoes, souvlaki strips, and garlic aioli. And as you can see, I've had that for 2 meals. And then the next day, I had a similar take on this. So the Turkish bread was toasted and lightly buttered. And then I cooked some of the battered fish I got from Costco. You guys can check that out in my Costco haul in the air fryer. So there was no oil. I top it off with some garlic aioli and jalapenos. And in this next clip here, as you guys can see, I have got some onions and carrots sauteing with a little bit of water. I have loads of carrots in this, probably about 6 to 7 carrots. And then I add in my beef mince to cook that down. The reason why I prefer sauteing my veggies in water, especially for this dish, is because I'm using beef mince, which is quite fatty. So a lot of that fat and oil will come out of the beef mince anyway. So I try to reduce my oil intake when like cooking other elements of the meal. So this is my favorite shepherd's pie seasoning mix. And yes, Peck, I think he always tells me when I'm cooking it with beef mince, it's cottage pie. Anyways, I've added in the seasoning mix and just mixing that all together. And my partner's mashing some potato in the background in the meantime. Basically, I spoon the potato on the plate and add a couple spoonfuls of the beef mixture on top. This is a super easy meal and it's also one of our favorites because it's really easy to heat up during the week and it's super tasty. And in this next clip, I actually went out to eat with my partner at this place called Chom Siam in the city. They have really cheap boat noodles. I think this was $6.50. Back before like COVID and stuff, they used to sell it for $4, I believe. And here I've got some pad thai with some soft shell crab deep fried, which was really tasty. And I actually saw one of the master chefs at this restaurant whilst I was eating. And as you guys can see here, I picked up a few sweets from a bakery called Savoy in the Haymarket, also in the city. So I've got some taro balls and a chestnut ball and a taro roll. And then here I've got some ice cream. So I believe it was a passion fruit sorbet, a hazelnut mousse, and pistachio ice cream, which was so good.